Good morning, and I wanted to go ahead and just spend a little bit of time talking about yesterday's podcast. So, if you're not necessarily familiar, I have a podcast which is called Yamano Tech and Society Podcast. It's pretty much designed to kind of leave my information about the plans I have for my business, how I particularly go into learning about my business, the things I actually feel like I need to study and to brush up on, and where I can find it online. So because using the internet right now, you can usually find all different types of places. And there's a website called Coursera, which is an online course application or platform where schools from around the world can come together and share course work and have a full curriculum where you could do homeworks and get a certificate. I primarily don't care too much about the certificate. I just mainly focusing on the work and helping them to audit the coursework. So, and being able to do that can I take the work that they're actually, teaching me, and be able to use that in my life effectively. Want to make sure that that it's actually working for me. And so far, all the courses I've been taking have been very helpful, and I really am excited about being able to learn like this in this ubiquitous amount of information where I could go online and use YouTube and blog, but having this organized amount of work available on Coursera is actually important or actually effective. I also spoke a little bit about how I actually go about getting a formal academic advanced degree, and how I was going to go about doing that. And that's going to be probably in another video where I'm going to talk about all the classes, what each class actually wants to be in, and this is just from one particular school, and I might do the other school. The idea is just to get an idea of what I would want to do personally if going to school is actually great. I mean, right now with the COVID situation, not being able to go out much is a bummer, but to me it's also a benefit, because you can actually take the time and go and work out. Not really work out, but you could train yourself, and when things are better, you're more prepared for the future. I've been spending a lot of time reading and watching a lot of videos that people who are experts or and basically in the industries or in the economic climate, they can tell that this was going to be probably something that was going to happen, that we were going to move into this digital world, and what would actually happen if we actually went through with it. So that's kind of like why I started to go ahead and make these videos. Another thing I actually started to go ahead and do is I started to go ahead and start reviewing the books I've been reading. So one of the books I've been reading was The Creator's Code. And it's basically, it talks about several different individuals that are entrepreneurs in their own right that have been successful and unsuccessful in their business. And as an entrepreneur myself, you have to study all these different ways to communicate, how people have solved certain problems, what are some of the things that you are looking to solve, and to stay in this mindset on a regular basis, even if you are in the house and you don't really have too many public meetings to go through. There is a online conference that's coming up in November. I'm actually going to be going to. It's called Upreneur. Upreneur is a online conference where I think Chris Ducker, he's also a virtual entrepreneur that he ever put in his books a few years back, like 3-4 years back, about the virtual freedom and being able to utilize virtual assistants to build your business, and allowing you to become the virtual CEO, where you can work on the things you want to work on without having to worry about all of the like managing your websites or doing customer service if you're selling cash or physical products. The idea goes on and on and on. So thank you for listening, and I'm going to go off in the next section right now. We're going to talk a little bit more about the podcast episode. The podcast episode was pretty much about functional fixedness. Not a real word. I mean, I heard that Grammarly actually made it wrong, considered it wrong and tried to suggest another word, but I said that it was an actual concept that was, and they kept the word. And the idea of functional fixedness is when you fail to look at a situation another way, or you look at a function another way to get the same results. So if you look at this in programming, you would have a function called split. In JavaScript, this function would usually take a string, which is basically a group of words, any word or text of words, and or characters, and break them up into items or elements and put them in an array. Now, if functional fixedness says that there's a certain way of actually getting that done, if you wanted to do that, you would have the same function called split, but the way it gets done is different. And that's what kind of the things that you want to do. If you have functional fixedness, you would probably use the same way to get everything done over and over and over again. So it's a good idea to even say this to you or to me in the video, because now I'm looking at myself in the camera, I'm talking. It gives me this idea that I'm actually learning these things, and I'm actually able to hear myself, and it keeps the things I'm learning a part of me. So I do recommend people to try to do that on their own. So another thing I want to go ahead and talk about was the different people that they talk about in the book, from the CEO of Chobani, Theranos. I think Chobani Yogurt. Theranos was this company that developed a technology that allowed you to find the root cause of a particular illness before the illness was even like wasn't even threatening to the body. So they were trying to find ways to focusing on, instead of going and looking at blood counts and stuff like that, they were trying to go ahead and actually look at the DNA and then match the DNA up, or like how the virus actually, or the cancer would actually attack the body. And it was very awesome that they were being able to do that. And because they were using technology to use this, they found ways to even make it cheap enough that it was going to save millions of dollars, even billions of dollars on in Medicaid and Medicare. And I don't know what happened to it. I was reading the book. The book shows that it was doing so well, but they actually they said that the company went under for some reason, saying that the CEO was considered like not a leader or something like that. I gotta find out more information about that. But that's one thing I was like trying to find out about that book. They brought up Facebook in the book. To continue, they brought up Facebook. They brought up Airbnb. They brought up how people who used to use roller skates took the roller skates off their skates and put them on a board to create the skateboard. How people were able to overcome functional fixedness to make their lives easier, or to solve a problem in their lives. And that's what I'm thinking we're going to be seeing in these next few years. We're going to find different ways to utilize functional fixedness. Again, it's not like a bad thing too, but we're going to be able to overcome functional fixedness to solve the problems that we are occurring. So if we have a problem where you're using, your life to using a butter knife to butter your food and stuff like that, you might necessarily also notice that your knife is not just a butter knife. It can also be a screwdriver to remove, screws, Phillips screws, side by side, the flat one, in the what do you call it again? In your house. I mean, functional fixedness for me would probably cause a problem where I wouldn't necessarily want to do use a butter knife that I would use to eat, to touch something that I feel like is not edible, dirty, so that might keep me from doing it. But if I didn't have a Phillips screwdriver available, this would be available, It also shows you how to use more, to do more with less. That's another idea I get with it, that, when you're developing software, you probably want to go ahead and to not have to spend so much money trying to, get everything you think you need to get things done, It's sometimes you can probably figure out how frugal approaches to actually solving that issue. So I'm gonna end it here on this note, and on the next video, I hope to bring up more information and to also help people to find the episode if you're interested in it. And this is also a video that I could use to search through the episodes, years from now, and to be able to know what I was talking about at certain points. So thanks a lot, and I see you guys in the next video.